Hello, welcome to Benjamin Tree. Today we're going to learn how to make a function that will automatically remove someone's title from their name. In this screen you can see that we have a list of many people with the different titles, Mr., Mrs., or Miss. So what we're going to do is we want to pull those out and just print their name. So the first person, Miss Jane Austen, we would want just to have Jane Austen in the cell B2. So what we have to do first is we're going to practice using an OR function, which we talked about in the last lesson. So remember, an OR function is like an if function where it checks for something true or false. And if at least one thing is true, you get a true response. And then if everything is false, then you get a false response. So we're going to be looking for Mr., Miss, or Mrs. in our titles. So let's take a look. Let's start with our first function, equals OR. Okay, and then what happens, we're going to be looking at the A2 cell, but we're going to be looking at the text at the left in A2, and we're going to look for the first two characters, and we want to see if that equals Mr. Okay. The next one we want to check is, again, we're going to be looking at the A2 cell. We're going to be looking at the left part of the text, and we're going to be looking at the first three characters, and we want to see if that is Mrs. And then we're going to be looking again at the A2 cell. We'll be looking at the left section of the text, and we're going to be looking at the first two characters, and we want to see if that is equal to Miss. Okay, so we put that in. So as we can see that one of these things is true. Either the Miss is true, the Mr. is true, or the Miss is true. And in here for Jane Austen, the Miss is there. So if we take this and we go down to all of these, so you can see they all have different titles. So let's go to Claude Monet, and when we take out Mr., it comes back at false, that there is no title. So now we know that this one doesn't have a title. Okay, let's go back. And what we're going to do now is we have a true or false statement, but now we're going to add an if statement. So if, and it's going to do its logic test, and this entire OR function is our logic test because it will give us a true or false value. Okay, so we have that function test, and the first thing it wants us to do, if it's true, what should we do? Okay, so if it's true, what we want to do is we want to print only the information after the Mr., Mrs., or Miss. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be pulling from the right side of the text. So we're going to use the right function to pull from the right side. Okay, and it says which text. We're going to pull from A2 and how many characters. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull from the length of A2. We're going to take all of that, but we're going to stop at the first space. So if we can see here, Mrs., MS period, and then space, it's going to find. We want to find where that space is, and we don't want to pull those four characters. So we're going to subtract from the entire length of Miss Jane Austen. We're going to subtract the title and the space. Okay, so we're going to say find. What do we want to find? We want to find a space, the first one, and it's going to be within the text of A2. Okay, so we close that down. So what is it saying now? Again, pull from the right of A2. How many characters? All of it except for the first four characters, which is the title and a space. Okay, so next it's asking us, what should we do if it's false? What happens if there is no title? Then let's just print A2. Okay, so we're going to hit enter, and as you can see now we have Jane Austen. So let's pull down, and again you see everyone's name there but without their title. Okay, so again if we take Susan B. Anthony and we take out the Miss, it still gives us Susan B. Anthony because it says, okay, I couldn't find a title, so I'm not going to take anything out, and I'm just going to leave Susan B. Okay, if we put the Miss back in, it'll give us the same. Also, there's no problem if we don't have a period because it's only looking for the MS, and it's not looking for the period, and it's going to take everything out between the beginning of her name and the title, so that space there. So if this person doesn't have a period, it doesn't affect the outcome. All right, so today you've learned how to remove someone's title from their name. Go ahead and on this page, go ahead and practice. Use the same kind of idea, but we're going to use clue characters. But remember, we have 2 new titles. So actually, we have 3 new titles. So you can't use only what we did. You can't copy and paste exactly what I wrote. So from the first one, so trying to make your own equation and use the information that you have from beforehand, but you have to edit it to use the new titles. Thank you for using Benjamin Tree. Hope you learned a lot today, and have a great one.